I am a huge fan of almost every Nintendo series. This is pretty clear just from looking at my YouTube channel, where most of it's, Smash highlights, all that kind of stuff. But above all of these stands one, even in comparison to Mario, Zelda, Pokemon series I do love to death. But it's not the most. I still think one stands above them. That being Kirby. The pink puffball who just kind of does his own thing most of the time is one of, if not my favorite Nintendo franchises. It's just strange. Saying that, though, made me realize I haven't really gone back throughout the series' history and played most of the earlier titles. I played Dreamland 2, Nightmare Dreamland, and the little bits of the Super NES games. But I haven't genuinely sat down and played through most of them. So I wanted to take this video to finally take a look at the original, Kirby's Dream Land, released in April of 1992 for the Game Boy. Finally wanted to get this one off my back, out of the backlog, or whatever. So without any further, explanation, let's just get right into it. The plot to Kirby's Dream Land is really basic. It just follows the young Kirby's quest to return all of the food to Dreamland, which was stolen by the dastardly King Dedede, and his plot to be the only one left. It's not really clear why he does this. I mean, you get it, he's greedy, but isn't he just kind of like killing everyone in the process of being greedy? I don't know, it's a good motivator, I guess. The gameplay is just about as simple as the plot, to be fair. You can run, you can jump, you can fly, you can suck, and you can spit. That's it. They're, even in comparison to other Kirby games with basic movesets, it's very small. There's no slide kick. You can't even run in this game, which does make it feel very, very slow, especially when you look at even Adventure, which I'm like 90% sure has dashing. If not, the general speed of Kirby has been upped a lot. There are, though, a few power-ups, which are not copy abilities, but are still mostly unique to this game. You have the microphone, which would go on to become one of the few copy abilities in Adventure. It's just a one-time use screen nuke, and that's all. There's also the spicy curry, which upon eating allows Kirby to spit out massive fire. It's not really massive, but spit out nearly infinite amounts of fire to destroy blocks and kill enemies. It's used twice, but it's in Smash, so that's pretty cool. Then there's, I think it's a lime, but according to the Kirby wiki, it's a mint leaf, which allows Kirby to fly while also doing the spicy curry thing, but instead of fire, it's just spitting out air. This is used for 2 sections, I guess 3. 2 are just for boss fights, and then 1 is just partway through a level, and that's it. And finally, there's the bomb, which outside of the, required Poppy Bros fights, I never hit, so I guess the use may vary. Oh, and of course, the invincibility candy. This makes you invincible, and is also a series staple at this point, along with the tune. So that's neat, I guess. Dreamland overall feels really basic and built as the first one, it's built as a base and then was built upon with the release of Adventure a few years later. And I think that's to this game's credit, but I'll get into that more later. Moving on to the presentation, Dreamland set a lot of the artistic groundwork for the Kirby series. His design would be used for most of the early days, probably ending in the GameCube era, aside from with the start of Adventure, Kirby being pink in the West. The story behind that is that the Western marketing teams weren't told really what color Kirby was, because it was unclear if it was supposed to be pink, like Masahiro Sakurai had wanted, or yellow, as Shigeru Miyamoto has suggested. So they simply based Kirby on his in-game appearance, which was pure white. And of course, we can't forget about the music. Kirby's music has always been a great listen. Plenty of themes in Dreamland specifically, especially Green Green's Mount Dedede, Float Island, the Invisibility tune, and even the Death Jingle would go on to return in a lot of this series. Games like Superstar Ultra using Mount Dedede as its final stage as well. Now is the part of the video where I decide to talk about the boss fights, and their extremely varying quality. All of the 5 stages are home to their own boss, which is pretty standard in even the world-based Kirby games. The first, of course, being Wispy Woods, who is, as he's supposed to be, pretty easy. Being a tree and all, he can't really do much but sit there, menacingly. Second stage, Castle Lolo has another staple boss fight in Lolo and Lala, who have their origins from other HAL series, like Adventures of Lolo. The third stage, Float Islands, has Kabula the Blimp, and yet another series staple with a shmup boss fight. And I guess Kabula himself is a bit of a series staple, but I think he only appears in like 3 Kirby games. So, whatever. The fourth stage, Bubbly Clouds, is the only stage with an original mid-boss as well as the main boss, with Kracko Jr. and Kracko, who actually appear in almost every Kirby game, even spin-offs like Epic Yarn. The fight itself is probably the toughest main boss, because he just moves extremely fast when you can't dash. I don't even know if you can duck in Dreamland 1. I don't think you can. It just kind of makes the fight really hard. Now, I know I haven't really gone into specifics on the main 5 stages, and that's because there's not much to talk about. But when it comes to the final stage of Mount DDD, I think this is probably the best Dreamland 1 has to offer. Instead of an entire original stage exploring DDD's castle, you actually play through 4 miniature sections of all of the previous stages, ending with a Mega Man-style boss rush, kind of. There's even these little Kirby dudes you kind of just merge with to end each section. I don't know, it's weird, and it's never brought back, but it's cool, I think. And of course, at the end of it all, comes the big bad himself, King DDD! This is a decently tough fight, all things considered. For my playthrough personally, it came down to my last hit on my last life. And of course, after defeating the king, Kirby inflates himself to the size of a Zeppelin blimp, and carries the castle with the power of the stars, returning food to Dreamland, and ending Kirby's Dreamland. After the credits roll, you're given a prompt about challenge mode, where enemies are way tougher, and there's a lot more of them, and even new varieties. I was going to do a playthrough of this for this video, so it would, feel complete, but after dying multiple times to Wispy Woods and his army of infinitely spawning Gordos, I decided against it. Maybe I'll come back to it someday in the future for another video or stream or something. All in all, Kirby's Dreamland is a really good Kirby game. I think it narrowly avoids the typical first game syndrome, where the first in a series is good, but generally overshadowed by the games following it. Something like Mario 1 in comparison to Mario World, or Sonic 1 even compared to Sonic 2. Dreamland holds up really well, although it is extremely short. It took me half an hour to beat, and this is my first time playing the game. Which also why, this video is made. Because the other 2 things I have in the work right now are going to take me a long time. I'm really sorry about the wait between this and 5 Years at Freddy's, but I haven't really had the time or, chance to work on stuff. But for now, this has been Brett, and I'll catch you all next time, when the adventure continues.